The Lalita Sahasranamam is a major devotional text with a deeply esoteric, ancient origin. Millions of practitioners traditionally recite its 1,000 names as poetry praising a supreme deity. To the initiated practitioner of Sri Vidya Tantra, the text performs a different role. It functions as a technical manual for consciousness engineering, with its instructions hidden in plain sight. Highly technical instructions for mantric and psychological practices were disguised within the anatomy of a devotional hymn to ensure their long-term preservation. The encryption of this text operates through three distinct allegorical layers. The first layer, the microcosm, uses physical, biological descriptions of the deity's body. The second layer, the macrocosm, uses geospatial and architectural descriptions of her abodes. The third layer, the process, uses martial combat narratives to describe specific psychological functions. Decoding these three architectures reveals the specific tantric path to self-realization. Holding these three conceptual frameworks simultaneously allows the practitioner to apply the text's intended technical functions. The first cipher uses anatomical features to map ritual hierarchies. Verse 25, shown here, describes the goddess's teeth shining like sprouts. On the surface, the text offers literal poetic imagery, and the commentary directly links the Sanskrit word dvija to sprouts. In this cipher, Shuddha Vidya corresponds to a 16-letter mantra and 32 specific tantric initiations, known as dikshas. The upper and lower rows mathematically map to two distinct paths of spiritual progression, the Vedic and the Tantric. Visualizing the deity's face serves as a somatic mnemonic device, providing a method to memorize a 32-step ritual architecture. Moving the analysis down from the head to the torso reveals a second mapping. Verse 38 describes the space from the neck down to the waist. Point 3 of the commentary notes that this region represents the central portion of a mantra. This bodily segment corresponds to the central 6 letters of the Panchadashakari mantra, the foundational 15-syllable root chant of the tradition. During meditation, the practitioner uses the geographical boundaries of the torso to lock these specific syllables into place within their mind. This system treats the deity's body as a geographic stand-in for syllabic groupings, rendering flesh as sound. The text moves from the internal somatic cipher to the external geospatial descriptions of the deity's domain. Verse 58 describes Lalita seated upon a highly specific piece of furniture, the Panchabrahmasana. The base of this seat consists of the deities Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, and Isana, who serve as the 4 legs of a cot. Sadashiva forms the flat sitting plank, completing the base. Lalita, embodying Icha Shakti, or supreme will, takes her position atop this cosmological structure. This image depicts the fundamental cosmic forces of creation, sustenance, and destruction as inert furniture. This architecture enforces the tantric tenet that universal forces only act when energized by the supreme feminine consciousness seated above them. The final allegorical layer translates static spatial hierarchies into dynamic action through martial combat. The text describes the birth of Bandasura, a demonic entity formed from the ashes of the god Shiva's divine anger. In this cipher, Bandasura represents the cruel, sensual ego bound by ignorance. His first commander, Vishangan, represents wrongful attraction and the misuse of the sensory organs. His second commander, Visukran, embodies excess sorrow and depression. The enemy army detailed in the text serves as a diagnostic manual mapping specific human psychological aberrations. Lalita's opposing army provides the specific cognitive tools required to dismantle the ego. The central allied command is Sri Lalita, representing the Atma, the pure, undivided soul. She is joined by the allied commander Mantrini, representing intellect, counsel, and focused mental energy. The allied cavalry commander Ashvaruda represents the mind, actively controlling the 5 sources of knowledge, the senses. The combat described is the deliberate destruction of mental ignorance by these applied spiritual disciplines. The violent mythological battlefield is entirely internal, providing an instruction set for psychological warfare against oneself. The text has presented an anatomical mnemonic, an architectural hierarchy, and a psychological battlefield. These 3 languages describe the exact same underlying structure. That singular structure is the Shri Chakra. This photograph shows how this abstract geometric map translates into physical objects of meditation still used by practitioners today. By forcing the practitioner to hold multiple complex frameworks of reality simultaneously, the text trains the mind to see unity. The text moves the practitioner from surface-level devotion to a multi-dimensional schematic. The physical body maps the mantra. The throne dictates universal hierarchy. The army represents destroying mental ignorance. Tantric philosophy employs a recursive structure, where the same geometric principles govern both the macrocosm and individual perception. The Lalita Sahasranamam succeeds by collapsing the macrocosmic architecture of the universe into the microscopic space of human cognition.